Cameron McIntyre, welcome to the program.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Australians' spending on cars has increased again, as we saw in the latest inflation numbers this week. No doubt that's showing up in your business too.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, the business conditions have been, depending on the state that you're in, a little bit variable at the moment. So, if you're in Western Australia or South Australia or Queensland, it's been a bit different to Victoria and New South Wales. But as each state's beginning to open up, we can certainly see conditions improving.
What kind of impact are supply chain shortages having?
Yeah, it has a number of impacts. So the first impact is obviously consumers have long delays when it comes to picking up the new cars that they've ordered, and some of those delays can be quite considerable at the moment, depending on the make and model that's been ordered. It means that pricing when it comes to new and used cars, the gap between a new and used car price closes because people realise that they can't get into the new car that they want, and they end up buying a used car, which is still a new car to them. But that's one of the things that we've seen over the last 12 to 18 months is used car prices have gone up considerably.
How long do you think these factors will continue?
Yeah, no, it depends on manufacturer, but most in the market would say it's not something that we're going to see any significant improvement this side of 2022, and probably towards the back end of 2022 would be my expectation, where we see things return to normal. So I expect that these conditions will remain for some time to come.
Do you expect at that point too we'll start to see prices come down and that gap, I guess, as you were explaining, between new and used cars increase?
Yeah, I expect as supply conditions change, what you should start to see is that gap begin to widen again. Now, what that does to the demand side of the equation will be interesting, because if prices of used cars come down, will that tip consumers back into used cars even more so? Remains to be seen, but that would be the expectation, that gap will widen as new car supply comes back into market.
Carsales.com has made 2 key acquisitions so far this financial year. How pivotal are they to the future of your operations?
Yeah, I mean, the big one for us was several months ago now, was Trader Interactive, and they're a very similar business to ours, but they're in North America. They are a marketplace business supplying advertising solutions for RV, truck, power sport customers, which we have the same business here in Australia. And again, just back to the earlier point around supply and demand, all those markets anywhere around the world are all having the same supply challenges, whether they're RVs or trucks at the moment. But it's a very important acquisition to us, because the market in the United States is some 16 times larger than the market here in Australia. It's a great business. These what we call non-automotive verticals tend to be less mature than automotive, which gives us a greater runway for longer term growth. So that one's exceptionally important to us. And there was another one that we announced today, which was the acquisition of a business called Tyre Connect, which is obviously in the tyre space, tyre wholesale space, and we see that market is another market that has a great deal of potential. It's harder to disrupt, and it's one of those businesses that you really need to scale in order to see better profitability.